All right, guys, I want to talk about extended fasting as a means of radical weight loss for overweight people. I just did my video that the pure protein diet is not PSMF, protein sparing modified fasting, which is basically a medically supervised starvation diet. Okay, and somebody asked me, says, well, so what do you think about just drinking like salt water, or whatever, for extended periods of time if somebody's very overweight and has a lot of fat to burn? This is what I have to say about that. I do not think, and I was never extremely obese, but I lost like over 40 pounds, okay, to get very lean the first time I recently got lean. So I will tell you, as somebody who is at heart a fat boy, it is extremely unhealthy to use fasting, water fasting, whatever you want to call it, for extended periods of time as a crutch to lose weight. I'm going to tell you why. Okay, first of all, if you're fat, you don't have a healthy relationship to food or a healthy relationship to exercise. It sounds cliche, but it's a fact, okay? You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You eat emotionally, have no control over yourself, okay? Now, even if you are capable of being disciplined enough to not eat anything and just drink water, okay, for extended periods of time, you're not learning how to eat, okay? So my first problem is, what's going to happen when the diet's over? Okay, are you going to go right back to eating crap again? Okay, probably. Are you going to gain weight again? Probably. Okay. The next question is, if you get results, which I don't think you will, because most people have a hard time staying on a fasting diet long enough. I mean, if you're not disciplined enough to eat like steak and eggs, or disciplined enough to eat chicken and rice, or whatever kind of normal diet, Weight Watchers or whatever, and lose weight, you're probably not going to be disciplined enough to just not eat shit all day. But let's assume you are disciplined enough to not eat shit all day. That is dangerous because you don't know how to eat. You'll probably be starving, probably go right back to eating crap, probably get fat again. And in the back of your head, you'll think to yourself like, well, if I get fat again, I'll just fast for another 2 weeks. I just won't eat shit for another 5, 10, 15 days and I'll lose weight again, okay? And now that becomes dangerous. So now, instead of having an eating disorder as in overeating, you have like a two-pronged eating disorder. You are gluttonous and eat your ass into an early grave by being gluttonous, okay, and overeating, eating disorder number one, and you're bulimic or anorexic or whatever, where you just don't eat, shove your finger down your throat, whatever. So you're basically going in between overeating, which is an eating disorder, and starving yourself, which is an eating disorder. So now you have two eating disorders. Neither one is healthy, okay? And this, honestly, this reminds me of like, when I was visiting Russia before the turn of the century. It makes me sound so old. In the very late 90s, I visited Russia, and I was talking to, some people, and they were saying that that abortions, okay, were seen at that point in Moscow as a form of birth control. Like, women would just run around, fuck without rubbers, and if they got fucking pregnant, they just have an abortion. And the average was like the average woman in Moscow had like so many abortions, and that's an average. That means there were women who had no or one or two abortions, and there were women who had like, several times as many abortions. Like, what the fuck? That just scared me. That was like one of the most frightening things I've ever heard of in my entire life. And funny thing is, a piece of white trash I knew, talking to her daughter, like, holy shit, I can't believe, what would happen if you got pregnant? So I just would have had an abortion. Really? That's fucked up. That is like thoroughly fucked in the head. And this is exactly the same thing that somebody who is extremely overweight, who discovers the joy of fasting, okay, is talking himself into. He's talking himself into a new kind of a fucking eating disorder. Like, well, if I just get fat again, then I'll just fucking starve for another 3 weeks. So anyway, that's like a problem. Now, when you go on, I think most people who overeat, yes, emotional contact to food, I eat when I'm happy, I eat when I'm sad, etc., 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 does not have to do with a particular food. But most people are triggered, okay, are addicted to carbs, okay? So I have a problem with telling people just to restrict their food. I think the reason why so many people who are very overweight never lose weight, and then they lose weight very well, very quickly when they go on a low-carb diet, is because they can't stop eating carbs. I myself am sugar addicted. I myself am carb addicted. I'll just sit down and eat some meat, eat some cheese, eat an omelet, and feel good. Okay, if you put a plate of fucking cookies in front of me, I don't care if there are 30 or 300, I will sit there and eat until I die. Literally laying on the ground, gasping for breath. I'll eat a pizza, and I'll probably drive out to the store and buy some potato chips, and buy some chocolate, and buy some ice cream on top of that. I am fucking sugar addicted. Once I start, I can't stop. That's why I have to be low carb. Okay? So what I think is, it would behoove most people who are overweight, okay, who possibly or definitely have a sugar addiction, to not starve themselves and fast, but to get on a healthy low-carb diet. So let's say you jump on my pure protein diet. Not that I'm just trying to plug my diet, but the fact is, if you jump on that diet, you will get quick results. If you're fat, it's important. Motivation and momentum. If you lose weight quickly in the beginning, you'll be like, wow, look at me. I'm losing weight quickly in the beginning. You'll be motivated to continue, okay? You'll be interested in learning how and why you're losing weight and how to continue doing it, okay? Number one. Number two, by getting fat adapted, you're going to be getting rid of your carb addiction. Okay, you'll be getting off of carbs. Okay, so if you don't eat carbs, you won't be triggering your carb addiction. You will be going overboard and eating. Okay, now another problem is, like I said, how are you supposed to eat when you're done? Well, an important part of the pure protein diet, or any intelligent diet whatsoever, is to transition out of it. Okay, so what I do is, I don't have cheat days on the pure protein diet. I don't have carb refeed days. I have fat refeed days, okay? And I do fat cycling, okay? And I transition out of the diet by adding fat, therefore adding calories. So the point is, if you are very overweight and you have an unhealthy emotional response to food, if you have an unhealthy emotional response to sugar and carbs, by doing this diet, you will actually look forward, okay, to healthy, low-carb, ketogenic foods. You'll be like, you've broken your sugar addiction. Now it's like, okay, great, I'm eating, whatever, tuna and chicken and maybe some nuts for some fat. But, come Saturday morning, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have some omelets, and I'm going to have some bacon, and that's going to be my, fat refeed meal Saturday morning. So you actually start to look forward to things that won't trigger your sugar addiction, and things that are actually healthy. So you're basically getting to the point where you are looking forward to, okay, the food that will keep you thin after you lose this initial amount of weight. And like I said, it's the same thing with, fat cycling or transitioning out of the pure protein diet, because you'll eat protein, but more fat, okay, and more calories on certain days. And you'll look forward to those days. So you're training your mind, your body, your spirit, your emotions, okay, to look forward to a low-carb, high-fat diet with a normal amount of calories, okay? So like I said, that's the thing. I mean, fasting is really just a different type of eating disorder, okay? Gluttony will fuck you up. Anorexia will fuck you up too. You don't want to see it, especially if it works out. You don't want to see this as like, well, this is the be-all and end-all. I could eat like a fucking pig, and then I could just fucking starve myself, and I'll be fine. That's not the way to live. Very unhealthy. Less healthy than being fat or anorexic is going back and forth. And, like I said, you need to train yourself to enjoy the kind of food that will sustain you long term, okay? And like I said, I mean, right now, if I go to bed and I'm on the pure protein diet, I'm really looking forward to omelets, bacon, steaks, eggs, things like that. Things that will be able to maintain my weight loss when I go off the diet, okay, when I transition out of it slowly, okay? So it's not like, you go on a starvation diet and you're dreaming of all the pizzas and all the ice cream you're going to eat, okay? Which, once again, like I said, would just get you fat again in the first place. If you're interested in this diet, the pure protein diet, go ahead and check out the link below this video. anaerobics.com/low carb cutting and bulking. It has everything you need to know about getting into a fat adapted state, going on the pure protein diet, fat refeeds, fat cycling, transitioning out of the diet, as well as low carb lean bulking in case you want to build some muscle after your cut without getting fat and without losing your abs, without losing all of the progress that you made while you were cutting. All right, guys, check it out. Link below, pure protein diet, low carb, cutting and bulking. Keep the questions coming. I'll see you guys in the next video.